Hello, everyone, and welcome back to today's Training Industry Learning Tech Showcase. My name is Emma, and I'm thrilled that you're joined with us here today. Today's Learning Tech Showcase is sponsored by Adobe, D2L, Libmos, Instructure, and 360 Learning. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items to go over to help you interact with our speaker and get the most out of today's program. Throughout today's event, please feel free to use the chat and submit questions in the Q&A panel. All of the questions will be addressed during the event or at the end of the program during our Q&A section. Once the session ends, a brief survey will appear in your browser, so please take a moment to share feedback on the session and the speaker. And as always, all of our sessions are being recorded and will be archived on trainingindustry.com, and you'll receive a follow-up email from us with a link to the on-demand sessions. If this is your first Training Industry event, we'd like to welcome you. Training Industry exists to make connections among learning and development professionals. We offer tons of resources to support your role in L&D through live events like today's showcase, as well as through articles on our website, our magazine, conferences, research reports, and our podcast. We'd also love to hear about what you've learned from today's session on social media, so please follow us on your favorite platforms so we can continue the conversation. And now, without any further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce you to our speaker, Graham Knowles, a GTM engineer from 360 Learning. It's great to have you with us here, Graham.
Thanks, Emma.
All right.
We'll get things kicked off here. Share my screen. All right, so today we're going to be doing a session on using AI and subject matter expert collaboration to scale enablement. So before I get started, I just want everyone to know that as the industry is shifting very quickly, that we have a ton of resources available for you. So if you are looking to become a strategic L&D leader, we know it doesn't happen overnight. I would say, please feel free to subscribe to any of our free resources available. The L&D podcast, which is the world's #1 L&D podcast, some of our free resources like AI certification for L&D and the L&D Performance Academy are all excellent resources that you can join today for free without being a customer. So please feel free to do that. Now, before I get into it, I know that there's a lot of questions around where AI is moving and how things are going. Now, the great thing about 360 Learning is that we've been the leaders in AI for over 3 years. So we have customers today that are using AI at scale, and they're doing that to develop expertise and do global deployments. So you can see now that over 20% of our courses now start with AI authoring, and that 97% of translations are now done with AI, which is a hugely powerful thing for global organizations. And you can see from Flavy's comment here that the AI prompts and document to course workflows, which I will show you today, does really help you build faster. It's never going to replace instructional design, the human connection, and your team, but it's certainly going to make your life a little easier. Now, in terms of collaborative learning, it has been something that we've been focused on for over a decade. We see that the ramp-up effect that companies are experiencing is really profound. And as the director of global learning from Safran says, the need for skills to adapt to the rapid pivot to AI is really consequential. Today, a lot of organizations are moving very quickly and don't know how to train their teams to get ready. And then, of course, when we talk about getting people into the platform, you see here that Lance is the head of customer experience for an external use case. They've been able to achieve a 99% customer satisfaction rate, and the engagement's been huge. They really appreciate that the learners can react to content and post questions in the chat, giving their customers that confidence that the trainer is available throughout the course, just like you are to the people that you're training in your organizations. So what is really important to us and why collaborative learning is a new critical approach to things is that proprietary expertise matters more now than ever in the AI era. You want to make sure that your internal skills are really leveraged, that you're building out your own AI capabilities. And yes, you can still get those transferable skills through AI built content or off-the-shelf content that you can purchase. But really what we want to talk about today is how you can really deliver that internal expertise to training courses very quickly so that you're not wondering how you're going to constantly build new content every week, every month, every quarter for your team, which is certainly a daunting task, as obviously our teams are smaller than they used to be. So we really need to be efficient with what we're doing. So let's take a look at the platform. So today I'm going to be learning a little bit about some new topics. So when I first come in today, I have an actual question that I have for the LMS. So the great thing about 360 Learning is we have an LLM built into our platform called our companion. So any course that you make in 360 Learning is going to be referenceable. So today I came in and now I have a very specific topic that I'm curious about for one of my customers, and that's how does an FTP work? And so the great thing is that the AI companion is going to be looking through all of your course content, going to be really helping you with the power of AI to get that dedicated answer. So no longer is your LMS just a place where people go to take proprietary content, to take their compliance training once a year. Well, now it's the source of truth for all of your knowledge within your organization. So I can get my answer right here from that course. And thankfully, I can also access this course directly as well. So if I want to dig deeper into it, take the course, really get maybe a certification from it, that's great. But for now, my question was answered. So I'm really happy with that. I'm going to go and move on to what I'm looking for next. So you can see that when I first log into 360 Learning, everything is right at my fingertips. I can see anything that's being promoted by the L&D and the enablement team. But I want to come down here and just take a look at my work. So here I see that I've been assigned a compliance class. So I'm kind of curious, okay, what do I need to do for this? So I can go to this path. And now what I really want to do is start here. So one of the best things for me personally that I love about AI is it can now test my competency before I actually have to take a test or go through a bunch of courses. So this is what we call positioning quizzes. And these positioning quizzes can be built with AI. And then by answering some of these questions, what it'll do is it'll exempt me from anything that I already know. So if I can prove that with maybe an open-ended AI question that I can just type in, see if I can get that right answer, or a quiz, then maybe I can bypass some of this compliance training as well. So AI is really coming in handy for everyone to maximize the amount of productivity that our team has and saves me from having to spend an extra hour taking training that's really not relevant to me. So that's great for me. Now, one thing that I do want to do today is I have to get my performance review with my manager ready. So what I'm going to come into is my career section. And so in the conversation that I'm having with my manager every month, every quarter during our one-on-ones, obviously, I really want to be focused on skills and closing those skills gaps that I have. So when I first come in here, you can see that today I'm a digital marketing specialist. I have some pretty strong skills for my current role, but I do still have some gaps. So with my manager, I want to go in there. I want to take a look at where my gaps are. What should I be focused on? And then set some guides for my learning path for the next quarter because I really want to improve my skills. So this is one of the areas where L&D teams have always said they've struggled to show that their training actually improves the knowledge within the organization. So this is where we're going to actually be able to document where they are today, where they're moving throughout the quarter. So at the end of the quarter, you can actually take that report to those strategic leaders in the business and say, look at this training we've been delivering, look at the outcomes that we've had. Our team is getting more knowledgeable thanks to the training that the L&D or enablement team is putting together for us. So that's always really exciting for everyone there. Now, also, I want another thing because I'm now looking to get into leadership. So I talked to my boss last time about going into becoming a manager within marketing. So here's where I have some clear gaps within my knowledge. So this is where with those performance reviews, you have the ability as a manager to have input into your employees' learning. So instead of leaving them with that classic L&D Netflix model where they're just taking random courses, you're not really sure what they're doing or why, you're really going to get a bespoke experience here that's done in partnership and designed around your performance management cadence at your company. We have deep integrations with your HRIS. So this is how you're going to get those learning outcomes and really help people progress to their next career. Also, as a organization, you are going to be able to, at the end of those performance review cycles, actually identify where you have skills gaps in the organization. So maybe 40% of your employees have the same skills gap. As an L&D team, you can now really prioritize a specific upskilling campaign on any type of skill, roll out that training to a good number of people within the organization all at once, and then that helps you be most efficient and close the largest skills gaps for your team most quickly. And then the bespoke ones, we can work on engaging some subject matter experts to maybe build out some content to help us out. So that's really where you can now track your skills gaps quarter over quarter, run those upskilling campaigns, and show that improvement. All of this is helped by AI. So you have the ability to even leverage the AI companion to help you with some of those tasks as well. That's what many are calling agentic AI these days, where you can say, hey, I need to pull this report. Where are the biggest skills gaps? Help me do this. And the AI will actually give you those answers to help you do that. So now that I've actually identified some of those skills gaps that I want to close, well, there's some great news here for me. So now I have this personal Q2 upskilling plan that I'll get into in a second. I can see any of my in progress training, but then I also have this personal upskilling plan here as well. So for some of those gaps that I had around Google Analytics, well, now it's going to suggest multiple courses that I can take. Maybe that's not the priority that I have with my manager this quarter, but it's still really impactful recommendations. We really want to make sure that every time a learner is coming in, there's something actionable for their job. You can see that they have lots of courses in here. We have some open sesame content that we can leverage for some of those transferable skills to make it easier. And then with my employee, of course, I can go here and take a look at some of those development roles. Because I'm interested in becoming a manager, maybe I'll just take a couple of these courses myself this quarter just to start to improve my knowledge. I know I'm not going to be a manager before the end of the year, but it's something that's on my career path. So I really want to focus on that. So when we actually come up here and take a look at my upskilling plan, so this is something that I would work on with my manager. So the great news is that these courses, that gap that I identified around my Power BI knowledge, I really wanted to improve that. And you can see here that I've tagged the skills that are relevant to me. I've got 3 courses in here that I've coordinated with my manager to address. You can see here that I have an assessment that will be scheduled. So I have to meet with my coach. You can adjust that to have it meet with somebody on the L&D team, however you operate as a business. The biggest challenge with skills is around how you assess them. If you just take a course, the truth is that you may or may not have learned something, right? That may or may not be actionable to your job. So I really do want to improve my Power BI skills. So I'm going to take these courses. I'm going to meet with my coach. We're going to go through, build a couple dashboards together, and then I'll be able to either get that certification or move my skill from a level 2 to a level 3 to a level 4, which is obviously what I want because I want to complete, that skills histogram on my skills profile to make sure that I have all the necessary skills to perform my job at the best level. Because I did have some questions about FTP, I also added a course here for myself to take that one because I just really wanted to get a better understanding for technical side of things. Now, the great thing is that collaboration is 100% built into every element of the platform. So I'm not here alone. I can very easily talk to Alex, my manager, and say, hey, can we schedule a few minutes in our next one-on-one to review our internal Power BI? Here, I can even record my screen, show where I'm having some trouble. I can add an attachment if necessary and put that comment in there so that my boss can reply directly into the thread, again, driving all of the activity around learning into the LMS so that you're really collaborating with each other. If there's other people, maybe somebody from the IT team, maybe Ali again here is going to be somebody that can help me. Can you help with my login? Keeps everything contextualized in thread. And so as I move through my learning path, one, my boss is going to be a co-author of this learning path with me. So she's going to be able to see what I've been doing every week, how I'm progressing through, how it's tied to my Q2 OKRs, and if there's anything that I've been looking for help from others. So all of that is really great to kind of keep me focused around that as well. So all those comments, everything I'm working on, everyone from enablement to my manager, all have really good visibility into what I'm doing, why, and how I'm progressing in the quarter. Now, the great thing about our platform as well is that we have this concept of academies. So academies are areas where you can essentially gate additional catalogs and content. So in this case, if I wanted to maybe gain access to the Leadership Academy, this is something that my manager could request from our L&D team. This would expose a catalog of content that I previously didn't have access to. This could be a way of empowering leaders within your organization. It also gives a great area for me to now connect with others who are interested in taking on leadership positions. Sometimes they call these rising leaders academies. Sometimes you have it as a sales academy. And this allows you to really have content created from other teams, share across the world. And one of the great things, at least I think this is a really cool feature, is that all of these comments can actually be translated into your platform language of choice. I think that's one of the coolest things I've seen actually from AI over the last 2 years is that if I'm here in Spanish, I would see this as hola, and everything is great because now language is no longer a barrier to communication within the L&D platform. So you have everything you need, regardless of where you are in the world, and all content can be easily translated to the language of choice. So that's a really important thing to call out. So if I come back here, you can see that within my thread on my homepage, I'm looking at a few different things. I see there's a great video here. Maybe I want to take a look at this message from our CEO. She gave a great message today. You know how leaders love to have an opportunity to speak to their teams. Not everyone can join those all hands, do all those different areas. So this is a great way to provide that for an async community, share that with the team, and ensure that they all feel welcome to the organization. As I scroll down, I can see here, okay, this is my comment from my manager around this. I have my upskilling plan. Oh, and now I see that there's somebody looking for some training around SAP. So this is something maybe I also feel like I need. So I'm just gonna maybe upvote that. And you can see here that somebody is looking for some training around this as well. So what I'm gonna do is maybe say, I could help with building this out. I have some knowledge. Maybe I'll get Fred to join me in this as well. So the great thing is you have the ability to track learning needs. You can report on learning needs. You can see which ones have the most upvotes. So instead of having to run separate surveys every quarter in terms of where there's knowledge gaps, you can have your team essentially request training very dynamically, or you can obviously run your upskilling reports as well to gain access to an understanding of where people are struggling today. So what I'm going to do is actually going to create a course. So this is a pretty tricky topic, right? So what I'm going to actually do is take something that I have downloaded from our Confluence pages. One thing that you'll see today is that most of your knowledge-based information is somewhere within the organization, right? It's documented in your Google Drive, your OneDrive, PowerPoints, Confluence pages, it's somewhere, right? But creating content for all of that is very difficult and time consuming. Now, this especially for not the sexiest technical question. Maybe I want to say I need a course to give someone an overview. So when I go in here, you can see that it's reading that PDF, it's taking that input, and now it's going to ask me some questions to improve what the output is going to be. Because one, the content that's coming in to this right now is actually being used to train the LLM. So what was once a boring, static knowledge base page somewhere internally, well, now you have the ability to build this out. I'm going to make this outline a little bit longer because I want it to be maybe a more 10-minute course than a 5-minute course. You can iterate back and forth with the AI companion to get what you're looking for. And then after a couple of minutes, what you're going to see is you're going to have an output that looks very much like this, where now you have a fully baked course. The great thing is that some of the annoying parts of building things for instructional design is all the quiz questions, everything is built out very automatically. So you have everything you need right here. But like every course, it's not the greatest just with the AI content. So what I'm going to do is maybe record myself, put some content in there around that, add some open questions that provide some AI feedback to the back and forth, or put in any type of these graded questions, especially since it's SAP success factors. I might even use something like a pick a point to help people navigate and learn how to use the tool as best as possible. There's all sorts of other things that I can put in here. I can add documents. Those can link directly to the OneDrive article that I use to actually make this course. So if somebody wants the full knowledge base article, they can link to it. Great news is it is embedded. So if that article changes, well, it's also updated in the LLM and our LMS as well. But what I do want to do is actually tag somebody in. So I did say Fred would be a good person. So I'm going to add Fred as a co-author to this course. And Fred has some good technical knowledge, so maybe I'll ask him to record a demo for us. So at Fred, can you record a quick 5-minute SAP workflow demo? You see it's an internal comment here, so it's now just for the authors. He can come back in and really quickly create a demo, add that content right here, recording his screen, and then now we're building out multiple things before we launch the course. Now, one of the things that I did mention around AI translation being now 99% of what they're using, it's because of this. This is now how easy it is to translate courses. So if I wanted to create that course for my Spanish audience, maybe it's Mexican Spanish, maybe it's Spanish Spanish. We'll assume it's a North American audience here, so we'll make that Spanish. Now you see we have this little magic button here. This is obviously our AI button. So now what we can go ahead and do, click that button, and now we have a translated course completely ready to go. So I don't personally speak Spanish. I'm going to trust that a lot of this is good. But what I'm going to be able to do maybe before I actually publish this is I tag in someone from our Latin American team who can actually read through that course, just make sure that the translation happened effectively and that it's not creating any confusion. And with that, I can go ahead, make that course available. And now I have a fully built out course that will now be available in multiple languages. And one thing that is great about the reporting that exists here is that as an L&D team, you no longer have to report on the English course and the Spanish course and the French course. All of these courses aggregate the data into one reporting schema. So you can actually see how many people are taking the Spanish version, the French version, the English version, which teams are effective there. And all of that is a very, very powerful analytics tool that allows you to actually, and this is a brand new course, so we won't have much filled out here, but you can see that every activity that we have within that course has reactions available. We can see where the comments come in, how many assets were downloaded. So there's so much value that you're going to be able to get in terms of that very specific feedback from that team. So that's a great overview of the platform for today. So just as a quick refresher, ultimately what we're trying to do is help you really quickly identify skills gaps and learning needs with AI. Use AI Course Builder to enable those subject matter experts to really build out those proprietary skills within your organization, to track improvement with those upskilling plans, with AI and manager assessments to make sure that you can actually demonstrate the outcomes that you have as an organization. And then lastly, you want to scale that impact to drive engagement. The best thing that we see from all of our customers is when 6 months in, 12 months in, the L&D team feels comfortable that some of these academies are self-sufficient. All of a sudden, when you come into the sales academy, you see that these leaderboards are being developed because people are creating content. They're sharing their win stories. They're gaining lots of knowledge and they're learning from each other, which is ultimately the best thing to scale your support and deliver value across an organization with the power of L&D and collaborative pruning.
Awesome, Graham. Thanks so much. We do have one question in the chat, and this is a specific question about the translation. If you're updating content in the course, will the translation also update, or do you need to re-upload, and is there an additional step there?
There isn't an additional step. What you would be able to do is roll out a version of that course. So if I just take a look at this course that I created here, if I did make any edits to this course, I'll just add, it's all about really smooth, really smooth integrations, I guess. Now I just want to update this and release a new version. Because the translation is all handled by AI, as it is throughout the entire platform, including dynamic content like comments, all of that is translated automatically as I release that new version. So anybody who has a different language as their default system, that would be able to show in here for sure.
Okay, excellent. So it's effectively kind of just like a save update button. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, that is all of the questions that we have. I'm sure Graham and his team will provide us with the deck. We'll send all of you guys a recording. So if any questions come up, I'm sure Graham and the team would love to hear from you all.
Yes. Thanks, everyone, and thanks for joining. I know some of you are joining on the West Coast, the East Coast, some coming from India. So thank you for joining early or staying up late. Really appreciate spending some time with you today.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We've got our last session up next from D2L called Scaling Learning Delivery for Faster, More Adaptive Workforce. I hope you all join us for our next session, which begins at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a great day. Thanks so much.